Hello and Happy New Year. It's officially 2023. Hopefully you had a really good night celebrating uh, the New Year's and you're feeling okay today. And so I had said in my last video, the party I'm going to, we're calling New Year's at 9 o'clock and making sure that we have the party wrapped up by 10 so we can all get a good night's sleep. This is what happens when you're over 50. It's just not worth it. You can watch, like in the United States, you can watch New York's or you can watch other countries celebrate their New Year's, and you can just get to bed at an early hour. So anyway, I hope your New Year's is off to a good start, and I thought I'd start the new year with my 2023 goals. So I don't have a whole lot of goals. This is my first year where I've intentionally thought about my reading habits, and how I've been reading this past year, and did I want to change anything up. And so for now, these are my goals. I want to, number one, I want to read the books that I bought last year. I bought a lot of books last year, and books that I wasn't even intending on reading right then, but I'm just like, oh, this one looks good. And I would go to the thrift stores and just kind of indulge myself in some books. And so I want to read those before I buy more books. I don't really like to have, at this point in my life, I don't really like to have a huge library. I just really want to have books that I absolutely love, and even if I don't absolutely love them, my silly collection of Jane Austen retellings, because I just love those, even if they're bad. I have one, let me grab it, because it's absolutely silly. Oh, I can't get it. They're jam-packed in here. Anyway, it's called Sasquatch, Love, and Other Imaginary Things. And I got this on Amazon for like $3. I think I shouldn't have had to pay shipping, but maybe it wasn't a Prime one and a book. And so, yeah, I think the shipping was more than the book was, but it was kind of goofy, but I really liked the little love story, and it did have some of the characters. I'll just put that on later. Anyway, so I digress. So I'm going to read books that I bought last year. I'm going to buy less books until I get through a chunk of the books that I've bought, unless it's part of the Kindred Spirit group that Kate Howe runs, and I think I only have one book for the year that the Kindred Spirit's going to be reading, and so I will buy those books. And then if there's a book in a series that I've already started, like for instance the Rhys Bowen Royal Spinous series, I'm on book 7, and I don't have any more of the books, so I will buy that. I will buy those subsequent books. So yeah, so that's my reading versus buying plans. And then I want to kind of slow down my reading a bit. I know everybody on BookTube is trying to figure out, how can you read more books? How do you squeeze more in? But I feel like I read a book, and I immediately picked up another book, and I was just cramming books in. And I think I want to slow down a little bit. I'll need to slow down a little bit because I'll be taking a drawing class. I know that's going to take up a lot of time, and I'm contemplating adding an ASL class again because I would like to be more proficient in ASL, and I feel like I haven't practiced a lot, and so I'm forgetting a lot of what I've learned. So anyway, so I want to slow down a little bit. And then I want to try to read each month a classic, a nonfiction, a Christian fiction, and a book from a series that I started. And that's it. Those are my goals. And then another just kind of, I don't know if you call it a goal, but I bought this little journal, big journal, and it's blank pages, but isn't it gorgeous? And it feels gorgeous too. I love the feel. And it's Alice in Wonderland, and it's going to be my reading journal. So I'm really excited about filling this out this year, and yeah, what that's going to look like. I'm going to try to make it more of a masterpiece than my one for the previous 2 years, which was just kind of a mess. Anyway, that's that. Now let's move on to the rest of my January TBR, which is just a few things. So as I said, I just this month signed up to be part of Kate from Kate How. That's Kate How's her channel. You probably know who she is. She's very popular on YouTube. I've signed up to be a part of her Kindred Spirit group. And this month in January, we're reading George and Weedon Grossman's The Diary of a Nobody. And so look at that. Isn't that a cute little illustration? And I think there's some other little illustrations inside. And yeah, so we'll see how I get along with this. It's a short one, but yeah. And I did look at his first entry, and he writes his diary is full of some very mundane life happening. So we'll see. I think it's supposed to be funny, so hopefully there'll be some humor in it. So I'm reading that one. And then I also decided to partake in Chantel at Chantel Reads All Day. She has a 2023 challenge for the whole year called Read Your Bookshelf, which that fits in with my goals. And she has a prompt for each month. And so that's really easy to do, just one book. It may or may not fit in with other reading challenges I'm involved in. The first one does not, but it does satisfy my desire to wrap up some books, read some books that I wasn't able to get to in 2022. So there's a prompt. There's 2 of these pages. There's a prompt for, like I said, for every month, and they kind of build on each other. Peekaboo. They kind of build on each other. So I'll just tell you the first 2 prompts, January and February. So January is read a book with a or the in the title. And then February is looking at that book that you picked for January. Find a book that has complementary colors on the cover or spine, which I love that. Here we go. We have color theory in our readathon. So for January, I chose to find a book with the, and that's The Hollywood Spy by Susan Elia Macneal. And it's been a year, I think, since I read the book before this, and so I really wanted to get to this book, and I think she has another book coming out this year. Sorry, I keep tapping. And anyway, so I'm really excited to move on with this and find out what's going to happen between her and her ex-fiance. Sorry, that might have been a spoiler. So I apologize. I'll write spoiler up here. Anyway, so then for February, it would be complementary colors on the spine or the cover. So you could take green, and the complementary color to green is yellow. No, it's not yellow. It's red. And then orange. God, no, blue is orange. So the complementary color to blue is orange. And so green is either, I think green is red. Yeah, because purple is yellow. So green must be red. So there you go. So you could pick either one of those. And then, so that's that. And then I also am going to partake in Miriam Elizabeth Reads, and there's 2 other hosts. I don't know who they are, but I'll link them in my description box. along with the other people channels that I mentioned. But Miriam is doing a readathon called Around the World in 80 Days, and they're reading the book Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne, and then there's some prompts about reading a book from wherever Phileas Fogg has traveled, reading a book that's set in those destinations. So it's kind of traveling around the world, kind of reading around the world, and they're starting that this month, and they're running through March. So I thought that sounded really fun. I don't know if I'll get to that this month or next month. That's kind of my, like, I hope I get to it, but if I don't, it'll be on next month. And then my other book that I want to read between now and March is Welcome to the Ice Cube by Blair Braverman. And this is a book that was left over from Nonfiction November. I didn't get to. My husband and I just booked a trip to Norway in July. And so this book is set in Norway. So I'm really excited to read that. Also, I think she did sled dog tours in Alaska, and she must do some sled dogging in Norway. And the Iditarod starts in, I'm doing it again. The Iditarod starts, I threw the pen down. The Iditarod starts in March, so I definitely want to read this to get in the mood for Norway and for the Iditarod. That's it. All right. Those are my goals and the rest of my January TBR. I'd love to hear what you're reading. Are you going to partake in any of these other reading challenges? How many reading challenges do you get involved in each month? It's hard. So you think you're all set. If you're me, I think I'm set, and then I see another readathon or reading challenge, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. And so I just have to say, it's good to know. Maybe I'll try that next time. Anyway, that's my strategy. I hope you have a happy new year. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon with my December wrap-ups, Cloak and Dagger wrap-up and Cozy Christmas wrap-up. And I'm sure I'll have a few other things to talk about. Anyway, I will see you later. Have a great day. Bye.